The surface web, which is also called the visible web or the indexed web, is the first and most easily reached layer of the internet. It includes all the websites and web pages that are cataloged by common search engines like Google, Bing, and Yahoo. This means that any content on the surface web can be located and accessed with a simple search. This makes it the part of the internet that most people know and use every day. It contains everything from news websites and online shopping stores to social media platforms, discussion forums, educational sites, and much more. At its foundation, the surface web works through a system where servers and web browsers talk to each other using rules called protocols. The most common ones are HTTP, which stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, or its secure version, HTTPS.
When you type a website address into your browser or enter a question into a search engine, your browser sends a message to the web server where that content is stored. If the information is indexed and meant for the public, the server sends the data back to your browser, which then shows it to you. This straightforward process is the basis for how we browse the web and is what defines the surface web experience. Search engines make use of specific automated computer programs, which are often referred to as web crawlers or spiders. These programs move across the entire internet without stopping, working to sort and file web pages based on their keywords, descriptive details, and other necessary characteristics. After this organization is complete, these pages are given a rating and presented to you as the final search results. The whole system is managed by very complicated algorithms that are specifically created to bring you the most helpful content for whatever you are searching for. The surface web is continually changing as new technology improves. The increasing use of specific types of content, interactive elements, and tools that are powered by artificial intelligence has changed the way we interact with websites. This includes recent 2025 improvements like AI-driven personalization, modern server methods, distributed computing, and progressive web apps, PWAs, for experiences that are faster and act more like an application. Even though the surface web may seem huge, it is actually just a very small section of all the content that truly exists on the internet. The most recent studies indicate it makes up approximately 4 to 5% of all the information available online. The remaining content is situated where normal search engines cannot reach it, in areas that are known as the deep web and, even further down, the dark web. Deep web. It is time to look at the deep web, which is the section directly below the public surface web. The name often causes confusion, but this area is frequently misunderstood. The deep web is simply composed of online materials that are intentionally shielded from the automated programs used by search engines. This means the information and services here are not cataloged and therefore will not appear in common search results. Contrary to common assumptions, the deep web is not an inherently illegal or secret space. It is actually where most of the internet's content lives, safely kept behind private logins, passwords, or payment controls. This includes personal email accounts, online banking portals, academic journals that require a subscription, medical records, and data stored in private databases. When you check your bank balance, you are accessing the deep web, not the surface web. Technically, it operates just like the surface web, using the same essential rules such as HTTP or HTTPS. The main difference is how content is hidden, often being created dynamically in response to a user's action. Because search engine programs cannot fill out forms or log in, they do not see this content. Accessing the deep web does not require any special software. You need only a regular browser. What is required is knowing the correct address or possessing the necessary permissions. It is not hidden, but rather private. Crucially, the deep web is entirely separate from the dark web. It provides essential functions for security, online transactions, and safeguarding private information, making modern online life possible. Dark web. The information below discusses the nature and risks of the dark web for educational understanding. It does not encourage or endorse illegal activity. The dark web represents a tiny portion of the internet that is totally hidden and inaccessible using standard browsers and search engines like Google, To reach it, special tools are necessary, most famously the Tor browser, which keeps users anonymous by routing their connection through many encrypted servers, called relays. Sites here use .onion addresses instead of the usual .com, and you cannot find them unless you know the exact web address. Since the dark web is specifically built for anonymity, two main user types dominate.
The first includes journalists or activists seeking information and secure communication in countries like China or Russia, which enforce strict internet censorship. The second type, unfortunately, includes those who want to access illegal and disturbing content. Common material on the dark web includes the trading of stolen data or hacked accounts, often obtained through phishing or malware. Black markets like Silk Road, which once sold drugs, weapons, and counterfeit documents, were shut down by the FBI in 2013. Today, similar markets exist, with some actually run by undercover government agents to trap criminals. Other dirty works include distributing truly disturbing material that cannot be detailed here. It is strongly advised to not visit the dark web due to the severe dangers.
When browsing, you might unknowingly trigger a drive-by download where a malicious file, such as a keylogger, installs itself automatically. This type of threat means everything you type, including passwords, credit cards, and private information, can be hacked, recorded, and sent straight to a criminal. The risks are very real and potentially severe. You may have heard talk about certain highly secret or unusual levels of the internet, but it is important to know that these concepts are simply not true. These untrue layers originally came from a graphic and various false stories that circulated around 2011. These stories tried to present the internet as having 8 levels, but they do not have any evidence to support them. Current 2025 research confirms that these ideas are just folklore and have often been blown out of proportion purely for entertainment. The unsubstantiated layers, Marianas Web. This one is entirely mythical. It is rumored to be an extremely secure level containing highly classified information that can only be accessed using highly advanced quantum technology. There is no proof whatsoever that this exists. It is most likely just an exaggerated description of highly protected government or military networks, but it is not a separate layer. The mediator layer. This is completely fictional. It was described as a bridge connecting the Marianas Web to even lower sections of the internet. This idea is simply part of the same false story and has zero technical foundation in reality. The fog. This is nothing more than an urban legend. It was portrayed as a crazy and chaotic war zone full of constant virus attacks and coding battles. This claim has never been verified. It sounds like an over-the-top way to describe networks that are heavily infected with harmful software. The Primarch System. This is a science fiction myth. It was claimed to be an artificial intelligence, AI-controlled final level that was secretly in charge of the entire internet. This idea is entirely dismissed as nonsense. The term Primarch actually comes from the fictional world of Warhammer, not from actual technology. For over 20 years, I've lived and breathed this technology. On the Verified Explainer, I put that practical experience to work, spending the extra time to properly research, verify, and simplify complex topics for you, cutting through the myths to deliver the facts. If you appreciate the effort and experience that goes into every single video, please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss a verified truth. Thanks for watching. I'll be back soon with another verified truth, so stay tuned.